So hello everybody, it is me, Demetra Kaye, and I am sitting here with Donovan, the recovering Democrat Saadiq, also known as a Black Yul Brenner. So the purpose of the Demetra Kaye Show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even, because we are great people, but we can always strive to do better. I like to say right off the top that we are not live. This is the podcast where Donovan and I kind of bounce ideas and arguments off of each other. And today we're going to talk about some of the things that we've seen trending on the internet. One is of a surgeon who comes home, or I guess goes home, I should say, every night and cooks for her husband. And she got a little bit of heat, I guess, backlash. And then also we're going to talk about Dr. Umar meeting with female rapper Sukihana. Y'all don't know who Sukihana is. Y'all Google her on your
She's own. A rapper? I didn't know that, but go ahead.
Yeah, she's a rapper. Y'all could Google her on your own. But nevertheless, we're going to spend about an hour here chopping it up. So Donovan, what say you?
Hey, welcome everybody. If you guys are tuning in, please hit that like, subscribe, and share button if you would, please. It's absolutely free to hit the like button. That helps with the algorithm. If you so desire, please look at that scrolling banner at the bottom. It amazes me how sometimes people will text and say, how do I contribute? There's a scrolling thing at the bottom there if you're reading it. But anyway, that's where you could contribute, and that also helps Demetra put out a lot more shows and more information out there, so we can have these great topics and discussions. And by the way, if you guys are new to the platform, please tune in 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 5 p.m. Central, with the Demetra Kaye Show on Sundays. And if you want to have a great topic and a great show aspect, tune in on Sundays, where even you are part of the show.
Yes, indeed. So, all right, let's get it cracking. Okay. So, I don't know if y'all seen all of the buzz with Dr. Umar Johnson. I guess he was in, Sukihana is from Florida, Miami. So I guess over the weekend or so, he was in Miami. You know, Dr. Umar travels around and he speaks to different groups and people and things like that. And so I guess she was probably one of the people that went out, because there was a picture that went forth on the internet of them two. And, they hugged, but nothing major. Sukihana, as I said, is a female rapper who is very lewd and, in my opinion, disgusting. Most infamously lately, we saw her in London, I guess she was, and she was with some of her friends, and she said, what did she say? Oh, she said something
very asses out here.
Right. We all of that kind of stuff. So anyway, it was pretty gross and disgusting. And she said some other things. Y'all can go check that on your own time. So she's also said some things about Dr. Umar Johnson. She said something like, oh, he could probably change her, or she could be his queen, or, something along those lines. And so Umar says, well, you know what? I would meet with her, but she's got to be willing to change her agenda. I want to see where her mind is at in regards to changing her agenda on the influence that she has, I guess, on some aspect of the culture. Nevertheless, Donovan took issue with him calling her a queen. So I'm going to put this video up of him, being Dr. Umar, explaining his position on it all. Where is it? Is this it? Let's see. All right, here we go.
Talk about the Sukihana situation one time. I don't condone my sister's content. I don't support my sister's content. I will not make excuses for my sister's content. I'm simply saying that if the queen is interested in making a transformation in her agenda, I am willing to aid her in that work. I am not going to cancel her because some of you hypocrites have overlooked popular people in our community who have done worse than Sukihana. Let me say this again because I want you to understand, overstand, and understand me right now. I want you to understand, overstand, and understand what I'm saying, brothers and sisters. I do not condone my sister Sukihana's content. I do not support my sister Sukihana's content. I will not make excuses for my sister Sukihana's content. But the sister has as much right to make a mistake and then correct it as you and I do.
All right, Donovan. So why is it that you take issue with him calling her a queen?
Well, you know what? I am very glad you asked me that question. I'm very glad you asked me that question. Because if everybody's a queen, and you know I said this years ago, you can't label everybody can't be a queen, everybody can't be a king. There's no such thing. There's only one king and there's only one queen. So when you have a woman of this ilk and this filth going around acting the way that she does, that isn't queenly, I would say absolutely not. You got to act like a queen to be a queen, number one. But let me go back real quick and elaborate on that. Dr. Umar said that we're hypocrites out here and all this other stuff. And she's got to be willing to change and all this other stuff. Well, number one, it's, I don't know if you know, as soon as he got done uploading this video, whenever it was uploaded, she put out a video just ass shaking and walking somewhere, whatever, right after he had put this video. I don't know if he knew it or not or whatever.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So she doesn't want to change her behavior. So he's a hypocrite because he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. And he says excuses, excuses, excuses. When you're up here defending this type of behavior, that's a form of an excuse. And mistakes are things that happen once. That's a mistake. When you keep doing the same behavior over and over again, you're just comfortable in what you're doing. And that's intentional. So, you know, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's too souped up on himself. And then as we always say, Demetra, on this show, and you say it and I say it sometimes, from a very, very famous movie. It's called The Soldier's Play and the Soldier's movie, whatever it is. Who gave Dr. Umar the right to judge how people feel and how they don't feel? If somebody says, there are a lot of women out there that support Sukihana and her behavior. There's a lot of women out there that don't support it. But one thing we can say is her behavior isn't queenly. I'll land my plane right there.
So, all right. Yeah, she definitely does not exhibit queenly behavior, but I think I understand why Umar called her a queen, as we call a lot of women in our community. It's just, I think it's a standard thing, queen, because it's not that she is behaving that way now. It's a reminder that that's who you are. That's who you come from. That's who you are supposed to be reflecting. So as I always say, it is to remind you, young woman or young man, you know, get on your square, start acting queenly, start acting like a king. That's what that's for. We are asking, when we call somebody a queen, to rise to the standard of one, right? So I don't have a problem personally with Umar calling her a queen. And in the same vein, you said who gives him the right to judge, but who gives you guys or anybody who feels she's not a queen the right to label her anything other than? Yeah, we see her doing some things that's disgusting. I wouldn't attribute those attributes to a queen, but I would imagine in his conversation with her, it doesn't sound like they had it yet, but when they do have it, and he's been very demonstrative about that, I want to see what's on her mind and if she's willing to change her agenda. But see, you don't know Sukihana and he doesn't know her either. So you're shaking your head I don't know. Sukihana is what, maybe 30? She I don't know, give or take, she's in that realm. I don't want to say she's young to where she doesn't know better, but she's young in that she still has room to grow and there's room for redemption. And so, me personally, I'm not mad at Dr. Umar for reaching out to her and trying to change her mind. I think that's what a good, decent man would do. You know, and I've seen the jokes go on social media. Oh, he trying to get some and all this other stuff. I think it's juvenile, you know, because Umar has not said that he is trying to be with Sukihana. It sounds like he's, you know, quite a few years older than her. I know what Umar's in his 40s, so he's got some years on her. So he's never said anything other than he wants to have a conversation with her and see if he could work with her in changing her mind so that the influence that she has on young Black women and girls, that she can use her platform for something more positive. So I don't have a problem with him calling her a queen.
Well, that's interesting. Like I said, I don't see, you can call anybody anything you want, but it waters the term down significantly when you apply it to everybody, and especially the people who act like this. And I get your term, and it's a thing, but that's what I'm saying. We water that thing down. That's why there's no reverence when it comes to it when we say it in our community, because everybody's a queen. Everybody's a queen, girl. Everybody's a king. It doesn't mean anything after a while, you know? So I get that. Like I said, I'm not a Dr. Umar supporter in the aspect. I like what he does in the community when he's doing it. I think he does a lot of pandering a lot to the women. That's just my opinion about it. A lot of, you know, it is what it is, but, you know, maybe I just don't like his approach, but that's his approach. If it's working for him, brother, do you. As far as trying to change this woman, good luck. I don't think it's going to happen, because as soon as he put that video out, she put her video out right on top of it. And it wasn't a good looking video. So, you know, good luck. It is what it is, but everybody can't be a queen. Everybody can't be a king, especially people who act like Sukihana.
Yeah, so I mean, she put a video out that's who Sukihana is. It does not sound like they've had that conversation yet. I don't know. Maybe I'm, you know, I just don't know. I haven't been following any of it terribly, so I don't know that they've even had a conversation. But I'm one of those people too, and that's just kind of how I am by nature. I don't like to count people out, because I do believe there is room in redemption. I think people can change their mind. Just like we had a young man on here a couple of weeks ago who, you know, kept wanting to nail Ice Cube to a cross, you know, for his music back in the day. And I said, well, by your same assessment, you wouldn't be following Malcolm X either, or any of the other people that have risen past who they used to be, right? They used to be degenerates and they are no longer. So I don't know. I just, like I said, I don't count people out, and I agree with you. Who are we to judge? Now, I will make a commentary on it. I don't like Sukihana and some of the behavior that she exhibits. I have actually seen an interview or two of her. She's a very smart girl. Clearly, she is paid to do what she's doing, because when she interviews,
yeah, she's very grounded. She's very grounded.
She's a different person. So clearly, she's putting on a show. She's putting on an act that's detrimental to herself eventually, and is detrimental to some in our community. I don't really believe that's who she is. I just think she's getting, just like Sexy Reds and all those other people, they're getting a bag to participate in degeneracy. So again, I'm not going to count people out, and I don't have a problem calling her a queen. Just like we call people young ladies or gentlemen, even if they're acting something like something other than that. We want them to rise to that level.
Yeah, you know, but, you know, I always look at the aftermath. I do believe everybody has redemption. Look at all the women that, and there's a problem that we have now in the community right now in regards to how women, you know, and men, they make mistakes when they're younger. And then when they get it together, later on in life and they settle down, they get married or whatever, and they say, okay, hey, I'm with this person. Now I understand. Now I know what's going on. But in situations like that, you're not damaging the community. When people are outward and willingly in the knowledge of this woman is almost 30 years old or however age she is, she's of a mature age to where she knows what she's doing is damaging to the community. I don't think there is any redemption when it comes to that. I mean, there's redemption in coming to that for herself and forgiving her for what she did, but you cannot repair the damage that is done in the community, and you're willingly doing it. You can't just say, I crapped all over the community, and here I am 10 years later saying, sorry about that. What about the damage that you've done? Now, I'm not saying she can't be forgiven for what she's doing, but I do take pause when somebody is intentionally and willfully destroying the community for a few things of coin. I think if you believe in Jesus Christ and all that other stuff, he had a disciple that betrayed him for 13 things of silver or whatever. And, you know, it is what it is. You know, you got the money, you did what you had to do, but was it worth it in the end?
Yeah, so I hear what you're saying, but again, I call hypocrisy on it all for damning her. I don't want to say to hell, but to a life of unchanging. But yet there's been a copious amount of examples throughout our community of people who were miscreants, for lack of better words, and they are now held as heroes. Now, listen, I don't know if Sukihana will rise to the level of a hero. She may or she may not. That determines, that remains to be seen. But again, I'm not going to dog Dr. Umar for calling her a queen. And Dr. Umar, he calls all kind of people queens and kings, and that is just how he speaks. He speaks from a position of who we need to be. He speaks from a position of Marcus Garvey, up you mighty nation, accomplish what you will. He's made it no secret that he is a Garveyite, that he follows a teaching of the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey. And he says
he's
that
a Pan-Africanist.
Yeah, he's a Pan-Africanist. And so he speaks to Black people all over the diaspora in a royal manner, because it is a known fact, even in the Nation of Islam. They say, you know, we need to get rid of the ideology of the N-word and start behaving. That's why they call each other brother and sister, to remove those other monikers that has been given to us. And it also makes you relate to each other as family. When you call somebody brother or sister, then you look at them more in an endearing manner, opposed to, hey, Bob, hey, Susie, you know, how you doing? It makes you really reverence who they are, even though you're not related by blood. And so I think we should always speak to each other in the most queenly and kingly manner possible. Now, I'm not saying there's not any N-words, Ray Ray, Pookies, Boom Quishas, Sukihanas, or whatever among us. I'm not saying that there's not, but the ones that of us that have some sense, we eventually, we are going to have to do as Dr. Umar is doing, speak to their better selves, the selves that they potentially can be if, like he said, she puts her agenda aside.
So let me ask you this quick question. So when you speak to these people and you speak to them, when do you get to a point to where you say the person's going to walk their own path? When do you get a point where you say that's enough?
Well, first you got to give Umar a chance to talk to her. It doesn't sound like he has.
I'm just asking you a question in regards to your opinion.
So
when do you say, okay, I talked to this person enough? This person is definitely going to go their own path.
I'm just one of those people. Everybody has an internal gauge, if you will. A lot of times we'll put up with things like we all know people, right, who put up with stuff from people who are just awful to them, right? They're just awful, they're evil, and on the outside, you can see it, and you're like, man, what does he see in her? Or what does she see in him? You can see it clear as day. But that person that's involved with that other person, they can't see it. They think, oh gosh, one day they're going to change. One day they're going to see. One day they're going to treat me nice. Or one day they're just going to be a good person. But it's up to that person who is seeing them in these, what we call rose-colored glasses, for them to eventually take the glasses off and say, okay, this is probably as good as this person is going to be, at least with me. maybe they'll be a better person to somebody else or whatever. But when that person decides to take the glasses off and their innate ability really just comes alive and says, what are you doing here? You know, that's when you know. Now, like I said, I'm one of those people, man, I'll go the distance with people, and it's just a flaw in me that I'm working on. I'll go the distance with people who have been downright awful to me. You know what I mean? Because I'm like one of those people, I think they'll be a better person. I think eventually they'll appreciate it or whatever the case is. But then there's a point in me where I say, they're never going to go there. They're never going to be that. So I need to remove myself, my good nature, my good advice, my whatever it is I'm providing in that relationship. I need to take it and then go be, you know, maybe enjoy that with somebody else. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but why would you call it a flaw?
What do you mean a flaw? Oh, well, for me,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a flaw because, and I've always had that flaw, like really just believing in people, even though they're like not so great to me. I've always had that. And I don't know if it's maybe some traumatic that comes from my childhood or whatever, but it's just like, it's a flaw because when I think about other people, I'm like, man, I think about my mom, for example. My mom, or even my daughter, or my sister, right? Let's just say when it comes to men, they'll be like, hell nah, sucker. Nope. Beat it. Kick rocks with open-toe sandals on. We're done here, you know? But for me, it's just, and I'm not, trust me, I know my limits, but it's just, well, I think they'll be a better person, you know? I think they'll and they just prove to be who they've always been. And so from that point, I don't want to say they're not going to be a good person. They're just not going to be a good person to or with and around me. Does it make sense? So it's a flaw.
So basically,
the cutoff.
So basically, your flaw in dealing with me is you haven't had enough yet.
You know what, Donovan? As much as you are a pain in my side sometimes, it's not. See, because if you know me and you know me well, you know things are rarely personal to me. Like, and I always have to explain this to people. Donovan and I, we don't take any of this personal. We don't see eye to eye on a lot of stuff, but some things we do. I think the important things we see eye to eye on, but I think it's a level of maturity to be able to say, I wholeheartedly disagree with you, but we're friends nevertheless because you are entitled to your opinion. Now, where the rubber meets the road is, let's say I was doing something to you, right? That was not good. I was using your kind nature or, just being a horrible person, then, or vice versa, then yeah, that you would have to re-examine that relationship. But just because people disagree, it don't mean they shouldn't be friends. That's how iron sharpens iron. That's how you become wiser when you have, because I couldn't be around. I'll keep it real with you, Donovan. I couldn't hang out with you if you agree with everything I said because it would just be annoying. It's like, golly, he doesn't.
You're hanging out with yourself.
Yeah, he don't. I always say everybody needs a no person in their life. Somebody who is not gaining from you. Somebody who is not afraid to lose your friendship. They'll be hurt over the loss of your friendship. But they're not afraid to lose your friendship because, as my best friend's mom, Michi's mom, always said, a friend will never lead you to danger. A friend is going to tell you things even though it hurts. A friend is going to tell you the truth. But people who are interested in stroking your ego, or they're afraid that you're going to get mad. Oh, yeah, that's fine. The stove, yeah. Well, for what I understand, is hot and you might get burned, but you never know. Try it. You might not get burned. Now, a friend is going to be like, fool, you know damn well that stove is hot. I'm telling you, don't touch it. Now, if you touch it, it's on you, but I'm going to be very boisterous and demonstrative about you doing that. So I consider it a flaw because I just have always been very kind and good natured. You know what I mean? But then this is just me being transparent. I'm one of those people that when I do get to that point, then that other side of me is like, lemon juice and razor blades like you. I'm sick of you. I never want to see you again. Don't darken my doorstep ever. That kind of thing is because it's just like, I've had enough.
Yeah, and the reason I asked you about a flaw, because like everybody's got whatever they call flaws. I don't really, me personally, I don't look at it as a flaw. I think it's just something that's innate about a person. Like you say that that's your Achilles heel or that's your situation. My thing is I don't operate in gray. And a lot of my friends will say, well, Donovan's never in the middle. Donovan's either this or that, left or right, yes or no. I don't operate in gray. And for me personally, that is how I became very successful. I have to have an opinion. Either I like this thing or I don't like it. I don't just say like, when you go to somebody's house and they cook something, you could lie to them all day long and say, oh yeah, it was great. But in your face, it says something different. You know what I mean? I'm more of the thing like, oh man, no, I'm getting rid of it. You know what I mean? And people say that one of my flaws is I'm too direct, I'm too honest, I'm too this. But at least people know where they stand with me. So people out there, if you guys are listening to this, regardless of what your opinion is on any type of subject or whatever, it's your opinion. It's your opinion. The point is, though, when you get the information and the correct information, whatever the correct information may be, and now your opinion should change. It should change. It's kind of like these Trumpsters. They got all the information, and yet they're like, well, what the whataboutisms come in it. And then it's like, well, yeah, but forget all that. Take Trump's name out of it. And this is what I do. If you guys ever run in front of people who support the MAGA crowd, that's what they're called, MAGA crowd, just tell them, let's take Trump's name out of it and let's just put Obama's name in there. You see the reaction that they would have? To be a totally different reaction, totally different. So again, not everybody's going to agree. I don't agree. I agree with what Umar is trying to do within the community, but there are some things I'm gonna call him on the carpet with that I don't agree. And like I said, my opinion of him is my opinion of him. It is what it is.
Yeah, and I don't agree with everything Umar says either, but I think I'm one of those people that can say, I agree with people I don't even like. If they say something right, that's just kind of how I'm built. I know how to separate the person from what they have said. Like I say all the time here, I didn't necessarily like Kevin Samuels' delivery, but I was able to agree with quite a few things that he said. You listen to him like, well, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, I can hear what he's saying, or whatever the case is. But I just think that's the next level of critical thinking, and not getting, I don't like them now. I don't care what they say. I just don't like them. You have to be able to say, yeah, they're.
Oh, he did. Yeah, girl, he did. That was just horrible. That's horrible.
That's awful. That was awful. And I was not one celebrating the death of Kevin Samuels. And I will say too that I have the ability to be direct. Now, anybody who see me on here, I don't have a problem being direct. I think I guess where really my flaw is I have a lot of I don't want to say patience, because I'm one of those people. My patience could be really short too. I think I have more hope and belief in people than I should, because it's like Maya Angelou is the one that said, when a person shows you who they are the first time, believe them, and I think that's where the flaw is. It's like people show you who they are, they're never going to be any different. What are you waiting for? What type of change? What are you hoping? Then also, just for me, you have to say, you have to ask yourself a series of things when it comes to people. What is it? Why am I even in a relationship? I'm not even talking about like boyfriend, girlfriend necessarily, but just a relationship in general. Why am I in a relationship with this person? Because when you're in a relationship, a friendship or whatever, there has to be some benefit. I'm not saying like you're gaining financially, anything like that, but it's got to be beneficial, right? There's a one way or the other. Like Donovan, if I was the type of friend that always call you, hey, I need you to do this. Hey, need you to do that. Hey, what about this? Hey, what about that? And I never say, hey, how you doing today? You good? Everything all right? Oh, I heard it was hot out there. Y'all, you know, if I never did that, then you would eventually be, man, this person will never call me unless they need something or they want to tell me everything on their mind, or this, that, and the other happened to me, or that, this, that, and the other. But they never in that conversation take a breath and say, oh, I'm sorry. Excuse my manners. How are you today? And really mean it. And that's why I always say, I know a lot of people, but I don't have a lot of friends. You know, I have associates, because to me, a friend is somebody who is genuinely concerned about your well-being, even if it's just a kind word. I tell you guys about my other friend, Ed. We sometimes don't talk for like 2 months, but when we do talk, it's hours of, you know, this, that, you good? You sure you good? I can tell something going on. Are you all okay? Like, we really get into a good conversation. All right, I love you. I love you too. Talk to you later. Let me know when you're coming back to California, and then we'll hook up and go out to not hook up like that. We'll go out to lunch or dinner or whatever the case is, right? That's a good friend. And you know, same thing with you, Donovan. When we have conversations, it's not just, you know, I need you to do something for me. No, what do I like, we have really in-depth conversations, and it's balanced. It's not. You ever call somebody and you could literally be like, or they'll call you, yeah, really?
You do more. You do most of the time listening.
Yeah, and you can even do this. Put the phone down and, you know, go do it. Because, you know, you're like, well, I know they're not going to ask me a question or anything. They're just, so, you know, yeah. But
well,
anyway.
again, good luck to Dr. Umar. I think he's going to be failed in his attempt to change a person, because it seems to me Sukihana's mind is made up that she is intent on leading young Black women astray and getting a bag off of it. So,
and the other thing I would say to Umar is, if his conversation with her goes nowhere, and it very well might not go anywhere, because the other thing is that we got to, like, this is where we have to really be logical. Umar is asking her to do something that's going to separate her from her way of making a living, right? Now,
right, her brand. It's going to separate her from the brand.
Making money, being, you know, whore mouth, if you will, and whorish in her behavior. She's making a lot of money to do that. And so I hear what Umar is saying, but unless he is saying, all right, Miss Hannah, or whatever her name, how much is it going to cost me to write you a check to change your agenda? Because money talks, right? Money talks. He's not going to be able to go to her and say, listen, queen, I think you're beautiful, this, that, and the other. You have all this potential. Why don't you think about changing the things that you are doing, and not offer her anything, right? Because she's going to say, how does Shanae do? He's offering me nothing to change my agenda and rebrand, but we know who, the white power structure, who's at the helm of these record companies. They're paying me a lot of money to, I'm trying to get my scratch. I'm out here eating N-words, A's. They're paying her to do that. So Umar's going to have to come with an offer she can't refuse. And he's probably not. And she's 31. So she's not, I don't know. Because I'm trying to put myself in her shoes if I was behaving that way. And it would take money for me, unless she's not at the point where she just has morals like Dave Chappelle, right? Like, walking away from 50 million, not to have them laughing at me and my people, right? I got the dignity and, you know, and all of that. I'm not going to do it. She's not there yet. So.
And, you know, to me, because of her behavior and how she projects herself, I could be totally wrong. Like I said, I've seen her interviews. She's a real one. She's a real one. She knows where she's from. She knows who she is. You know, she's real. I like that. I do like that about her. She's honest with herself. She's not delusional like a lot of these women are out here being who they are. But the point is, though, even if you wrote her a check, I don't even think she would change one bit. She would just take that money, deposit it, and it's just another scam because it goes with the brand that she is projecting.
Scamming.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, good luck to Umar, and if something comes out of that positive, that would be great. But you know, I don't think Umar is hanging his hat on her changing, because when I was going to church, I remember my pastor saying this, and I've never forgot this. There are some people who are incapable of change. They will not change no matter what. He says there are people, right? There are people, he says, will come up to this altar and catch the Holy Ghost. Oh, I'm a changed person. Oh. And then right when they walk out the door, they put the heathen suit back on, right? And they like, yeah, that was cute. I was up in there playing church, but I'm still an a-hole, you know. So he said, and when he said that, because you know, especially when we go to church, we do get under the impression that, oh, church is going to change you. All you got to do is just walk into the church and you'll be born again. You'll be new, right? And when he said that to me, it was an epiphany, because some people won't change. They will die being who they are. They won't. They're just not. They may think they want to change, but we all know when we wanted something bad enough, we'll do whatever we need to do to succeed. And if a person was really interested in changing and being a good human, they would. The other thing is, some people feel like there's nothing wrong with me. I'm doing
the
well.
Lord loves me regardless. I could be with a man and all that other stuff. The Lord love me. It don't matter. It don't matter.
Yeah, I can do whatever I want to do, and you know, that's fine. But I would say for anybody who's around those people who have they don't want to change, you can change yourself from around them. Okay.
You know, and it's funny they brought that up real quick. Now, I'm a Catholic. This is one of the main problems I had with the Catholic Church. And, you know, there's a lot of white people that are Catholics, and there's a lot of people that are Catholics. But the point is, it is what it is. The Catholic Church tells us no matter what we do on this earth, and this is my interpretation of what I understood of it, no matter what we do on this earth, all we have to do is confess our sins and we're made anew again. And I remember when I was younger, I would go out there and I would fornicate and I would do just stuff in the world. And I knew in my head, all I had to do was go and confess it. And the slate is wiped clean. And the pastor would tell me, or the chaplain, whoever it was, the priest, he would tell me, say 12 Our Fathers, 9 Hail Marys, and hit the Stations of the Cross, and it'll be wiped clean. And I believed that.
Right back out there.
And I would turn right back around, because I knew no matter what I did, I could come right back in here. And, you know, and unfortunately, a lot of Catholics believe this too. No matter what you do, on your deathbed, you can recant. We believe that. A lot of people believe that.
I mean, that's what Christians believe, the same thing too. All you got, you know, they go, like you said, in Catholicism, they read you your last rites, you know, then you go on to glory. And I guess you're supposed to go on to glory. You ain't supposed to go down there or whatever. But yeah, that's kind of the same thing with Christianity as well. But
this is why I think the white man always doesn't want to change what he's doing. And as he mangles people in other nations and other cultures here, because they actually believe, you know what? Yeah, I strung up 12 Negroes, you know, Civil War era type stuff. You know what I mean? Like back in the day, I enslaved all these people. But you know what? As the good Christian man I am, like the Bible preaches, I'll recount my deathbed and I'm going to glory. And that's why they continue to do, I think that they do what they do.
Oh, yeah. But you know what, though? That's not how it works. You can't cause harm to people. Because, see, the one thing about forgiveness is supposed to be, when you are forgiven, you're supposed to change that behavior. White supremacy has not changed its behavior, you know. So it's like, also, you have not what's the word I'm looking for? Slips my mind. It's repent, but it's another word. Atone. You haven't atoned for what you did. And we know it's even in 2023, Black people are still experiencing the horrors of slavery, Jim Crow, and whatever you want to call what we're going through now. And we have not been paid. We have not gotten retribution for what has been done to us and our people. So they can keep hoping and believing all they want to, but God does not sleep, and neither is karma. So anyway, let's get on to this next topic. This topic I saw, I think actually my daughter shared this with me. It's about a doctor, and I guess she goes home every night and she cooks for her husband. And I want to play this video. Let's see. This is it here. Okay, so here we go. So, as you saw there, that surgeon, very beautiful, by the way. When she gets
what a lucky man! What a lucky man! You don't find women like that no more.
Oh, they around. Y'all just don't appreciate them, but that's a whole nother argument, baby. She, you know, as you saw her in her scrubs, she's cooking for him, and she ain't putting no top ramen together, and you know, nothing out of a box. She's doing things from scratch.
And it sounds coming to the door. None of that.
Yeah, none of that. And it sounds like quite a few people on the internet took her to task. Oh, you're a slave. What's wrong with him? Why doesn't he?
That's what I'm saying. The name calling, slave. Wait. Why is it that you're a slave because you want to do something for somebody you love?
Yeah. So she's been called a whole bunch of, you know, names and things like that. And so on another video I did see, she explains, she says, that's my husband. I love him. He takes care of me too. And he does things for me. And she says, as far as me, him expecting me to cook when I get home, she says he absolutely does expect for me to cook. And I don't have a problem with that. And I guess some other people made exception to her cooking in her scrubs. You know, she's at the hospital all day or whatever. Basically saying, you know, why doesn't she change her scrubs?
There's no blood on those scrubs. For all you know, she changed her scrubs into clean scrubs. You don't know. There's no blood on them.
She explained that. She says, y'all taking an issue with me cooking for my husband in my scrubs, but y'all eat out in restaurants and y'all don't know what they doing to your food. Y'all have no idea. Y'all basically trust your mouths and stuff and held to a lot of other things you shouldn't be, but you worried about my scrubs and me cooking for my husband. So she says, basically, y'all need to, you know, mind your business, whatever. But me and my husband, we're good. I love him. We have a great relationship. And he means the world to me. So I don't have a problem. She was actually shocked that went viral and that people were like, you know, calling her names and stuff because she does that. And so I was like, yeah, that's very problematic. But it also just goes to show how people really don't know what it means to be in a relationship.
Number one, I'm going to say this. Get your asses off of TikTok because you guys are giving the game up and you guys are being exposed. Notice, I would almost guarantee you, Demetra, I will bet you a lottery ticket right now. Most of those women that are calling her names and saying she's a slave and this, that, these are these feminists that ain't got no man, you know, probably got multiple baby daddies, you know, whatever the stereotype you want to call it. Because any good woman who was raised in a traditional value, see how one-sided they always look at it? Oh, you ain't no slave. But the man is, he's probably working 15, 13 hours to give her the lifestyle that she's accustomed to. See, we don't see the man side of what he's supposed to do, but yet a lot of women expect men to be traditional, to pay all of the bills, right? No man is disputing a man should pay all of the bills, unless you're one of those new millennial types, you know, milk toast men that were raised, you know, in a single mother home. Real men, we know we are supposed to pay the bills, period. If it means we got to work 15 hours, 20 hours, like myself, went out in Afghanistan and stayed my ass out there to make sure the bills and stuff were paid, right? Doing what I had to do, 30-hour days and all of that other good stuff like that. These women always talk about traditional men and men paying all the bills, but then men are not supposed to expect some form of a traditional woman, regardless if she's working out there or not. I'm with that guy. If I'm married, yes, honey, you want your career, you go ahead and do you, sweetheart. That's fine. But I still would want you to cook a majority of the time. What's wrong with that?
I don't find anything wrong with it, especially if that's something she wants to do. It sounds like her and her husband got their thing nailed down tight. So, I mean, who is anybody else to try to admonish her? Or you're a surgeon, you shouldn't be doing that type of stuff. It's like at the end of the day, I'm a wife first. I'm a wife first, and my husband comes first. But that comes from a lot of people whose career comes first. You know who I am. I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that. And you know, I'm not going to be cooking for him. I'm not going to be doing ABC. And who do he think I am? That's a bad attitude, right? Now, it'd be different if she was saying, help me.
Right.
I'm trapped in the kitchen. This neuro. And she ain't saying none of that. She, you know, doing her thing, and she's working, and she's chopping carrots, and you know, all that kind of stuff. She didn't seem bothered by that. So I'm like, if I would have saw that video just on my own fresh eyes without all the commentary around it, I wouldn't have thought anything of it. I would have thought that's lovely. Because I always tell y'all,
right. Traditional.
Yeah, because that's how I am. It is my absolute pleasure to cook for my man. Like it just is. I never do it begrudgingly. Like just I never do it. It's like, because I know that when I'm preparing, and I hope that he enjoys it, right? That's a service. I'm doing something for somebody. Hopefully they appreciate it. You know, because I know how men work. I like when women cook for you and all that, and not, you know, like you said,
that is sexy when she's in there doing that, and he brings that plate, and then she's got her little lingerie on and all that other good stuff. You know what I mean? You know, and think about this. I'm going to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
But see, what women don't understand is this: you're out there working and you're stressing. You guys aren't built for that shit
at all.
Women are not built to be out there dealing with that stress and all that other stuff. I guarantee you, if you guys, if all you had to do was be a domestic and take care of your family, or go out there and work 40 hours, 80 plus a week for somebody else, what would you choose?
Being a domestic or staying at home?
Yeah.
Come on now. I would stay at home. Now I want to say this. I would always have something to do, like some earning potential, but I would love for it not to be, gosh, you got to bring home the bacon. If you don't, everything goes under, right? I'm not going to lie to kick it. I'm not one of those women that's like, nah, child, you know, I'm all right paying all the bills on my own. And technically I am, because I'm single, right? I don't have the other part of, you know, the power structure dynamics, I guess, if you will.
Earned income. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I got to do that. But yeah, it'd be lovely to say, well, I'm earning some money, but it's not because I have to pay the bills. Now, I'm also one of those people that I love to shop for my man. I like to buy him clothes and smell good. I'm just that type of person. So I wouldn't be the type of situation where I'm earning money and I'm like, man, you got some holes in your shoes. You might want to go do something about that.
Yeah, well, no, you know, when I'm talking about, when I talk to women our age, or at least my age, not your age, my age, and they look back on everything that they went through, and you ask them if they had to do it all over again, almost 100% of them would tell me they would rather be a house technician. They would rather be a house technician, because when I go to the mall, and in 11 years that I've been retired, Every time I go to the mall during the afternoon, the only people I see walking with their kids, getting out of their Mercedes SUV, are the Middle Eastern women, of course, the white women, and the Hispanic women. You don't see Black women just exercising, going to the library for reading day for their kids to comprehend. You don't see, I'm not paraphrasing everybody, but you know what I mean. And but you know, I'm looking at that and I'm saying there's something wrong with these new modern women when they think that their traditional role is abhorrent to who they are. To be a woman, that's part of what it is to be a woman. It's like me being a man. As being a man, I know from the time I was little, I'm going to have to go out there and work. I'm going to have to either do this and do that. I'm not saying it makes you any less, but it makes me wonder, do you guys really want to be a man? Because it's not a good job. It really isn't.
I think a lot of, especially Black women, have to serve in the role as of a man, and you know, even like even women in my mom's generation, who were single parents, they have to serve in the role as of a man, not because they wanted to. Maybe the man wasn't around. In your case, Donovan, your mom was a widow. All right, so she had to do both jobs. So
no, see, I'm gonna have to disagree with you that. You're always a woman. You can never serve in the role of a man.
No. I didn't say that.
I know what you're saying. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
No, but I didn't say that it makes you a woman. I said serve in the role as a man. What I mean by that is
I don't agree with that, but go ahead.
Yeah. There's a lot of women that do that. They serve in the role as a man. And that
how do you become a man?
You didn't hear what I said.
No. That's what I'm saying. Explain it.
I said serve in the role. I didn't say become a man.
What's the role?
If I am a single parent, that means that I am paying for the whole household. If I was with a partner, a man, he would more than likely be doing that, or he would be doing some of it, right? Also, as a single, and let me finish, as a single mother, you are, and I'm not talking about, because I always make the difference between a single mama and a single woman. Single woman with children is just that, because the father is around, he's in the child's life or children's lives. So you're a single woman. You're not a single mama. A single mama is one that does not have help from the man at all. So if there is no man around, she is doing things that would take her more out of her femininity and put her more into the masculine. It is masculine to have to bring home the bacon, cook up the bacon, take care of everything around the house and the children by yourself. It puts you more in a masculine role. Also, as a single mother, if you are the only parent in that house, you then become the provider, the protector, and all the other things, get provision or whatever, all the things that a man would traditionally do. So I'm not saying that makes her a man. I'm saying that puts her more in the role of a man.
See, I'm going to disagree with you right there. My mother's a widow, right? Raised 2 boys. Nothing that she did put her in a man's role or whatever. She did what she did as a woman 100% unilaterally. I never saw my mom. I know what you're saying in the aspect, but see, this is what I've been trying to tell women. No matter what you do, even if you're doing it on your own, you are not a man. You're doing everything as a woman's role, period. You can't take a place of a man. You just can't do it. So I'm going to say from my experience, my mother being a widow, I never looked at my mom as, wow, she's doing a man's job. She's doing that. No, she's doing what she's got to do as a woman, period.
Did she provide for y'all?
She did.
If there was
a widow, she has no other choice.
If there was a man in the home, would he?
Right, but there wasn't. Right, but that still made her a woman. That doesn't make her. I
never said it didn't make her a woman. I didn't say it.
No.
Wait, you're confused.
No, I'm not confusing it. What I'm saying is,
wait, because I said the role.
She's making her money as a woman. It has nothing to do with a man.
I think you're missing my point. I didn't say it made your mama manly. I didn't say it makes her a man. I said she is performing some of the duties in the role that a man would normally provide if the man was in the house. So what are some duties of a man? If a man was in the home, what are some duties of a man?
Of course, she's got to bring home the bacon.
Was your mom doing that?
As a widow, she has to do that. She's a widow.
I'm not saying that was. I'm not. Listen, I think too. You kind of made me thinking. I'm saying that was a non-honorable thing. I'm not saying that.
No, no.
I know your mom did what she had to do, but she did things that a man would ordinarily do if there was one in the household. For whatever reason, that man is not there. Your mom, you lost your dad.
Right, but I think you're missing my point as somebody who actually saw it and experienced it.
But we're talking about the basic tenets, though. We're not talking about something like a woman.
Yeah, no. But never once did I look at my mom as, oh, well, you're doing a man's role. She's doing what she has to do as a woman, period.
I get that. I get that. But you might not have saw her doing a man's role. But trust me, your mama was doing what a man would normally do if there was one in a household. When your daddy was there, was your mama working?
No.
Was she paying all the bills or any of the bills?
She was paying the bills. He was bringing home the bacon. That's right.
Right. So, So he was going out there and getting it. Right.
Right.
But when your dad passed away, your mom had to do what? She had to go step in his role to continue providing for y'all. So I'm not saying that made her a man. I'm saying she had to do the things that she would normally have to do. She would not normally have to do if your father had not passed away. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying.
No, I agree with that. What I'm saying is a lot of women misconstrue that like I'm got to take a man's role. I don't agree with that. No, you're just doing what you got to do.
I mean, it's the same thing. If we're talking about roles,
you're adulting.
But if we're talking about roles, let's take the woman out the household and leave the man there with the children. If we're talking about traditional aspect, where the man will more than likely have to come home, cook, do the laundry, clean, take care of the kids, get them off to school, whatever the case is. In the place of that woman, for whatever reason, she's not in the home, he would have to do that in addition to doing the things that he is expected to do as a man, would he not?
Right, but he would still be a man doing it.
I didn't say that he wasn't.
No. I'm trying to delineate because a lot of people take that misconstrued. When I hear these women always talk about I'm doing a man, no, you're still a woman. You're still a woman. You might be doing the role and bringing home the bacon. It's called adulting in the modern age, but you're a man. You're a woman. I'm sorry. You're a woman. Whatever you do, 100%, you're doing it as a woman.
So roles do not
matter.
Roles do not define sex. Role does not define gender. Roles are things that people, we're talking traditionally, we ain't talking in the modern world. Traditionally, we're talking about the roles that people are expected to do. If you're a woman and a mom or a wife and you're staying at home, you're expected to do A, B, C, and D to keep that household going. If you are a man with a woman or, in a traditional setting, you are expected to go out there and get after it and come home and bring it back so your wife can make it do what it do, right? So I'm talking about roles. I'm not talking about because I don't have a man or a woman in the home, I automatically grow a set of boobs if I'm a man. I'm not saying that. I'm talking in regards to roles.
Right. But I'm just saying you hear a lot of women that misconstrue that and act like, well, I got to be the man. I hate when women say that because no, you don't have to be a man. You're playing you're doing a man's role. So I agree with you in what you're saying in role wise, but a lot of women misconstrue that what they're doing as I'm stepping. No, you're still a woman. You're still a woman doing it.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt. But yeah, it does, tend to make, I would say for women especially, and maybe for men too. I don't know. It does. You do have to step in the masculine area sometimes. I'll give you a perfect example. As a woman, and you're a single mama or whatever, and somebody's breaking into your home, you gotta step up. You can cower in the corner, 911. But if you see a mug come through your window, you're gonna have to pick up your piece or whatever you got, the nearest thing, and start to swinging, right? So that's something. If you had a man in the home, you'd be like, honey, oh, I think I hear somebody coming through the window. Go handle that. And he's like, yes, darling, I'll go do that. That's you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but you cannot be a damsel in distress if you're by yourself.
Yeah, it's funny because I'm gonna give you guys a hint, especially you Negroes out there that don't know anything about being a man. When you're laying in the bed with your woman, she should not be closer to the door than you. You should be the front person laying in that, if the door is that way, wherever the door is pointed, you should be the person on that side versus her. Would you agree with that, D? Makes sense, right?
Now that you mentioned it, yeah, I agree with that. Unless
it's like walking a woman in the street, right? You want her on the inside.
Yeah.
so that you get splashed and she doesn't. But we got these barbarians out here who call themselves men that don't even know that.
Yeah, you got a lot of men boys masquerading as men, and and that's not to be disrespectful. We got a lot of girls masquerading as women as well. There's a lot of people out there pretending to be adults and they're not. So yeah, I don't have a problem with what she was doing. I think it was a beautiful thing. I think we need to see more of that. And I know that from a woman's point of view, when you cook for someone, it's an expression of love. It's an expression of I care for you, because especially if you're doing it right. And y'all saw what she was making. She made some rice, some vegetables, and some, looked like it was some lean meat. So she obviously cares about the quality of food that she is feeding her man. So that, as I say in the nation, a woman is a scientist in the kitchen. She can heal or kill you by the things she is putting on your plate. So that's another expression of love. I know I could fry him chicken every night, but he probably ain't gonna be here long. If I do that, he's probably not gonna like this baked chicken or whatever. But I want him to understand it's because I love you that I'm feeding you these things, because I don't want you to die. I want to spend as much time on this planet with you as possible. You know what I mean? So,
and maybe keeping his yum up.
Yeah,
that's why that's based on diet.
Yeah, so I like I said, to me, I thought it was a beautiful thing,
And wait, and looking at that video, did you see her looking distressed or
no,
oh God, get me out of here? You didn't see any of that, but isn't it crazy how a lot of our young people think that is out of order?
And the other thing too is, and I don't want to say this is the only thing that keeps a man from straying, but do you want that man eating up by some other woman's kitchen that is taking the time to cook for him? And he's, my woman at home, she don't ever cook. If she do, it's for something for her, or whatever. You don't want him, like, if he's going to do it, and I'm not, ladies, don't mistake me in this. I'm not saying, because listen, you could cook all the gourmet homemade meals you want. You can stroke his ego on some other stuff too, and do everything you need to do. If that man is a cheater, he's going to cheat on you regardless. But what I am saying is, when it all comes down to it, he does cheat, I want you to be able to take your list and check everything off and say, nope, he didn't cheat on me because of that. He didn't cheat on me because of that. Oh, I know damn well he didn't cheat on me because of that. You want to be able to say, I had all my ducks in a row, not just for everybody else, but really for you. I know that I didn't do anything. I did everything. This man had a home cooked meal every day. He was taken care of, whatever the case is. So it wasn't, and I spoke to him in a loving manner and all of that. Make sure it's not something you did, because there's a lot of men out there that say, yeah, I strayed because, and when I knew when I was going to come home, she was going to have a lot to say. It wasn't going to be no food on the table. She laid up in the same stuff she had on the day before, funky and nasty, watching soap operas and eating all the other stuff. She got food on her plate, but ain't none on mine. So there's a lot of men who say those things.
Right, the kids are all fed. Her kids are all fed.
And sometimes the woman is so raggedy, the kids ain't even fed. She just says it's about me type of thing. So there's men out there that say those things. And I think at some point in time, as women, we do have to start hearing what they are saying. If your man has a correction for you, don't be that chick. Well, he ain't gonna tell me what to do. I don't understand what's wrong with you. Sound like a whole chicken. All the stuff you're not gonna do. And then he's like, all right, because I tell you all the time, I got a good friend. He was like, I had my fiance at one point in time. She tell me, you didn't take out the trash, so I'm not giving you none tonight. You didn't do this, so I ain't giving you none. And you didn't. And he said after a while, he was like, all right, so be it. So he would say, hey, you know what? I'm going to go to the liquor store real quick. I'm going to be right back. And that liquor store was some other woman. And so he said from that point on, when it was, you didn't do this, so I'm not, he's like, all right. And so he said it got to the point where he was just waiting for her to say, I ain't doing it. He's like, yes, and listen, I ain't saying it's right, but I'm saying the man gave her a copious amount of warnings. Hey, and then the other thing too, if your man don't take out the trash, did you die? Is it annoying? Yes, it's annoying. Honey, the trash is overflowing. Do you mind taking the garbage out? You can have a couple minutes. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I didn't see it. Okay, let me go do it right now. Or take out the trash or you ain't getting no coochie. How did you go from one extreme to the other? Did you
There's a
ask
lot of
nicely?
coochie out there. There's a lot of coochie out there. Trust me.
You know, so I just, for me, I've always been one of those people. If you gonna leave me or you gonna cheat on me, it ain't gonna be because I did or did not do something to you that would make you get out there and run me down low and greasy. You know what I mean? So.
And ladies, I just want to add this, especially, you know, I've given up talking to the women my age and Demetra's age and stuff like that. You know, we've got to start saving the younger generation, the younger women. And a lot of the younger women are listening because they're looking at the mistakes of the older women, the old bitter women. Let me tell you, yeah, let me tell you something, ladies. If you can cook, that is a plus in a man's book because men in general, we don't like to eat out.
But
that costs money.
Can I put a caveat onto what you said?
Good.
I want to emphasize a man. I ain't talking about these little boys masquerading as men. I'm talking about a man worth his weight, and a man that's willing to do the right thing by you. That's the man that deserves your home cooked meals and all that other stuff. As my sister gave my nephews advice a long time ago, she says we was in Mexico, so this is why she used this term. And we were talking about just relationships. They were very young, and she says, "Y'all make sure the woman y'all get with, excuse my French, says make sure that she's able to bring you a Tecate and some tecuche." Okay. Tecate is the name of the beer, you know, that's what they were drinking. She says, make sure she's able to do that. Now, some other stuff too, but don't get with somebody who is, you know, hard-headed, won't help you, won't do nothing for you. And that's the part right there that really chaps my black ass, is people who get with people, like, you know, I think we should get with people that's going to be an asset, but you get with somebody for the fluffy booty and but they can't do nothing. They're not your go-to. They're not your first line of, hey, baby, I need you to help me. I need you to do something for me. I'm down bad. Your baby need, you know, if that's not your first line of defense, then why are you laying down with that person? See, that right there has always baffled me. Like you spending quality time with a person that you can't even feel like you could be open and honest with them. Hey, you know what? I'm down bad. This is the situation. If me and you gonna rock and roll together, I'm gonna need you to help me, right? But that ain't how it is. And so, yeah, I agree with you, Donovan. You know, that those things are reserved, and on the other side is true for men and women. I'm talking about in the true sense of the word. I ain't talking about a woman because you got boobs in the butt, you know, and a hole, or and vice versa. A man, I'm talking about in every true sense of the word, a woman and a man that's walking in manhood and true womanhood. Not this, because I don't care what y'all say. You say, you know, you giving up on talking to women my age and all that. There's a whole lot of men in your age bracket too, boo-boo, that's running around there acting like they're 12, doing the same stuff that they was doing in high school, or because they was an L7 in high school, now they trying to live out with the stuff they should have lived in their 20s, in their 50s.
Yeah, no, and let me clarify. When I say I'm giving up talking to women like that, what I'm saying is, unfortunately, a lot of women have lived their lives and stuff like that. And, you know, we've gone through the 80 phase and we've gone through the single mother phase. A lot of these younger people are seeing the mistakes. So, you know, I'm not saying that these people can't change. But the point is, the message should be for the younger generation so that they don't make the same mistakes. So. Absolutely.
If it's all about knowing, and it's all about teaching, so people will know. So anyway, y'all, we'll be back, I think, for the live show. I want to talk about something very interesting. So you guys stay tuned for that. But anyway, until then, you guys have a great rest of your afternoon. I have not eaten a thing all day, so maybe I'll try to do that. But in the meantime, don't forget to subscribe. I always ask y'all, forget to ask, but I also say thank you to everybody who has subscribed, donated, liked, commented, or whatever you've contributed to this channel. Could not be that without you. So thank you so much. We will see y'all in a little bit. Peace.